hell edition of Reality NSFW's coverage of Big Brother Canada 10. I'm your host, Bobby Goodsby, joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Brent Wolgamott. Brent, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me on tonight, Bobby. It is always a pleasure to come on and chat some Big Brother with you. I will let everybody know that I was ripping Bobby a new asshole right before we came on. I just happened to, it came up in my YouTube feed. I was watching the RHAP sequester that I played with Bobby. We were talking about it a week ago. I won't go into it big, but there was a moment in time where Bobby could have literally taken control of the game. And he was like, no, I don't need that. So I feel like we have a lot to talk about tonight because there are people in the game that could have taken control of the game. There are people that are seizing their destiny in the Big Brother Canada house. And there are other people that are like, nah, that's okay. I don't need it.
Let me just say this. I have gone through that whole night, probably way more than any other person that played that game.
I'm sure. Yeah, but I have gone through it many, many times. Yes, because that was very fun. I had a blast. I had almost as much fun playing Rob Has a Sequester as I had playing actual season 4 of Sequester. It was a lot of fun in one night because there was definitely a moment in time where I was like, I think I have this, and then of course I didn't have it. But just like the real game when I played Sequester season 4, I thought there's a moment in time where I've got this, and then I didn't have it. So
that was like that was
the breaks.
That was the height of my Rob Has a Podcast tenure. That was the height of it because that was when I got as much recognition as I'd ever gotten. And most of it was for bad reasons, but also just the fact that people actually knew who I was besides, some guy that came on occasionally on the live feed updates. So
yes.
Just that mixed in with, staying at home all day. And then this is something fun to do for once. And just getting to meet some of these people I've never podcasted with who had no idea who I was and why I was there. But it was just that whole night. I would love to do it over again if we ever get the chance to in the future.
Yes, I'm sure. Well, you never know what the future holds, but yes, that was a lot of fun. And let's quit boring these people and talk about what the hell is happening in the Big Brother camera house. I will say, Bobby, that your camera is a smidge blurry. Maybe I don't know if you can reset that or something, but I hear you perfectly, and that's really all that matters.
Let's try something. Go ahead. You go ahead and break down what's going on.
Okay, sounds good. So let me just say, I'm a huge purveyor of social media. And I see people on social media, and they're not here for Helena most of the time. And I've got to tell you, from where I'm sitting, I don't know why she gets the hate that she does. I really don't. I still feel like there are people on social media that give credit to Kevin for things that if Helena were a man, a white man specifically, that they would give her credit for. And I don't understand why they don't give her credit, because I feel like she's playing the best game that she knows how to play. And I know that she said early on in the game that it would be great if a woman of color won the game. I know that she said that. Okay, I'm with you guys on that. However, I don't like that being used as a lasso or a leash around her neck. It just feels to me like people are being really hard on Helena. And from where I'm sitting, for someone who has won very little and who seems to be looked at by many of the players in the game as someone who's not worth anything. Oh, wow, I'm by myself now, Bobby. Anyway, fortunately, I know how to talk. Anyway, point being, I have had it with people who are not here for Helena because I love Helena. I don't love her as much as I love Kevin. I do think Kevin is a little bit more of an active player, but Helena is giving it to me, and she's not afraid to make a move if she has to. She's not afraid to get her hands dirty. And I still think that a fair amount of the flips that we've seen, when Tanisha went up and when her mom went up, are because of Helena. And sometimes she didn't even mean to do it, but I feel like she is the cause of a lot of this, and she doesn't even get credit for it from the fandom, and it drives me crazy. So just a little start to tonight, and maybe I'm going to lose some viewers, but I keep it real. And your camera's much better now, by the way. Helena deserves credit for this week. I won't say it's equally as Kevin, but it's at least like 60-40. Like she got a lot of shit done this week, and if not for them to swinging this, Herman would not be going home, and he's literally one of the best players in the game. So the fact that they're getting him out this week, so it seems, all credit to the two of them. I'm so excited about it.
I didn't get to listen to a lot of what you said except for the end of that because I was trying to figure out what was going on my camera. But
Yes.
I will say this. I think from what I heard you say, I'm actually the opposite of you. I love Kevin and Helena, and I love the gameplay that they did. And I'm very excited. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Herman's a fantastic player in this game. But I am so glad they are taking this opportunity to take out someone who definitely is against them. Like we saw at the end of this episode that he was saying, "Oh, well, I've got something in store for Marty next week." That shows that he was going to go after Marty. He's easily going to go after Helena and Kevin. So the fact that they're taking this shot and there's going to be basically little blood on their hands to get it done, I think it's a fantastic move. And I'll say this: I think Kevin's playing one of the best Big Brother games since Kevin Martin. Maybe it's a Kevin thing, but Kevin is playing fantastic right now, and I'm so excited to see him.
Yes, I think. Well, you missed the part where I was praising the two of them. I was very, very excited. Yes, very, very excited. Look, it's killing me that Herman's going home. It's killing me.
You're bitter.
I'm bitter because Herman is a great player. He's very fun. He's entertaining. He's very Dan Giesling to me. Like he's got all the boxes checked. Okay, to me, Herman is. And I thought earlier this week when he got nominated and blindsided as a backdoor that I thought that he was going to get himself out of it. And maybe he can pull a rabbit out of the hat here in the last 24 hours. But right now, I got to tell you guys, it doesn't look good. It looks like Herman's going to be leaving. I don't even know if he has Gino and Jason as corner anymore. Hell, even Moose could vote against him at this point. I really don't know. But it does look to me like Herman is going. And how we got here is just amazing because you look at Marty at the beginning of the week and like, let's just start at the beginning of the episode. So we see what happened on the double eviction. And you know, like all the stuff that led into the possible Gino blindside, and then it didn't go through when we saw why Betty got cold feet. And frankly, I'm with Betty on this one. I know some people were coming down on Betty, and I'm with Betty on this one. I didn't think that they had enough time to get that 5 together. It didn't seem like Marty was kind of dragging his feet. Like you were just like, you know, is he gonna do it? Is he not gonna do it? You know, maybe she should have swung. I don't know, but I feel like I understood where she was coming from, that Marty was just being very about it. And it's like, you know, do we really have the votes here to pull this off? Because if not, we're going to be left hung out to dry. Little did she know she was going to be blamed for it anyway. That's the hilarious part. Betty's the one that put the stop on the whole plan. And yet she's still the one who's getting blamed for it. That's crazy. I will say Marty is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, I want to go back to the beginning of this season. And I know I'm ranting a lot here, but I got shit that I want to get through because otherwise I'm going to forget about it. So Marty at the beginning of this season is like, I want to walk out of this house and I want to be proud of the game that I played. I want Canada to be proud of the game I played. Segue to tonight. And he's talking and he's like, I want to walk out of this house and I want Canada to be somewhat proud of the game I played. So it's gone from I want him to be proud to I want them somewhat to be proud. Like, bitch knows he has been a backstabbing snake and can't be trusted for shit. Okay? He just needs to own his shit, realize he's playing a game, and like Kevin said it best, he's literally not mentally stable. He's literally insane. Like when I saw him, all I could think of, and maybe this is hot take, I don't know, I saw this on social media a little bit, but when he was like banging the table and getting really angry, I was like, I don't, maybe this is not my place to say as a privileged white man, but I feel like Big Brother of the past, if that was a black man who was doing that, I feel like the feeds would have cut and like they would have had a talking to or something like that. Like it would have been like angry black man. But now it's like they're showing the real tea, right? Because the production finally got the memo on Marty, right? Marty has been disliked by social media since the beginning for the most part. I mean, obviously he won a few fan votes, but I think that was basically like his fan base there in Canada. And the thing is that social media does not like Marty, and he's been a backstabbing hoe. Like, he really has been. So the fact that production is now finally on the train, like they finally realized they're showing the real Marty. This is the real Marty, the one who's banging the tables, the one who's being irate, the one who is being aggressive with people. Again, if I swear to God, nobody ever, to me, when Marty was doing what he was doing, I don't think anybody called Marty aggressive. They just called him insane. But if that was a black man doing that, I think some people would have called him aggressive. And that's where some of the dichotomy comes from. And I'm not trying to get into this too much because I know it gets beat to death on social media, but you have to see when Marty behaves the way he does and he doesn't get called out by the fans as much certain fans of social media that there's definitely a conversation to be had. So I'm just saying that about Marty, and that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I apologize to everyone with my connection. I figured out it's my Wi-Fi that's doing it, so I don't know why it's doing that, but I apologize. So I'm here, but it might cut in and out a little bit. All right. So to just piggyback off of everything you just said, from the very beginning, when we saw Marty kind of acting just a little bit, I don't even know how to explain this because I at first I thought, oh, well, this is just him. This is just how he is. But even in the first few episodes of his first HOH, where he won the HOH and started like just being erratic in the HOH room, where oh, let's go see my HOH room, and just like some of the stuff you're like, okay, that's a little over the top. No, I think that's just Marty. I think he's just not all there, and like I don't know what's going on with him inside his head. I know that game can do crazy stuff to your mind, but man, this guy just seems to be awfully off the wall. Like it's insane to me. So fast forward to this last week, and I want to also say what you said about how Betty really completely changed the outcome of that vote. And
right?
I think that Betty needs to really also own up that she screwed the pooch here too. Because if she wouldn't have read that Marty wasn't going to vote the way that they wanted, the votes would have come through and Gino's ass would have gone home. So then they'd be sitting in a whole different situation. But you've got to realize with someone like Marty, who's an erratic player, who's very unstable, especially in the way they flip-flop their votes week to week, you've got to understand that if you're going to, at the last second, change your opinion of what you're going to do with that vote, and don't tell the most erratic player in the house that you just told to vote with you that you're flipping it and not voting against one of his good friends, yeah, it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back against you. Even if it's not the right setup, even if you aren't the one who voted against Gino and he did, you have all this backlash coming your way. And the fact that Kevin got off scot-free, thank God he had the relationship with Marty that he did, because I think that's the only reason he's not one of the ones that he's going after as well.
So I don't know. I'm just saying I don't totally know about this, because I know that there are people on the internet who are some of our viewers who are thinking this as well, because I know Harman has mentioned this in the house. So this is the only reason why I'm going to bring this up. Okay. It cannot be lost on you, Bobby, that Kevin is white and Betty is not, and Josh is not. So Marty, because Harman said this earlier this week, like Marty only puts up people of color. That's all he does. Okay. Yeah. He only puts up people of color. So the fact that he's giving Kevin just a total pass when Kevin was driving the bus on this and is holding Josh and Betty's feet to the fire for something that somebody else was also in on is really, really bizarre. And I think a little bit suspect. Like I'm not gonna beat it to death, but I'm just saying that may be something that needs to be looked at there, because he's it's odd. Kevin even acknowledges it in the diary room. Like, he was one driving the bus on this, and yet Marty is totally giving him a pass. Very, very selective memory, to the point where it's almost like, are you being serious about this? Do you not remember? Like, did you not remember that Kevin was trying to haggle the votes together to get 5 people together to get Gino out? Like, the fact that Marty doesn't remember that, it's just, I feel like there's a little privilege there. That's all I'll say.
I try to hope that that's not the case, because we don't know that for a fact, but it could come into play. I have no idea. I don't know what's in Marty's heart, but what I will say is the fact that he's not held equally responsible as the other two is a little baffling. I always want to go back to maybe his relationship with Marty before this week, before that incident happened. And I'm not saying the other two didn't have a relationship. I just think Kevin was on a different level of how he was interacting with Marty, that Marty didn't want to throw that relationship by the wayside, but could easily pin it on the other two. And the fact that it was 2 votes against Gino, so he only needed to pin it on 2 people. I would say that was more so the reasoning. Another thing about, and
that's fair.
Marty,
that's totally fair. Yes.
So I do agree that it's unfortunate, the situation of where, the racial tendencies tend to lie.
Yes.
But I try to believe that that's not the factor. Maybe that's just me being, trying to see the good in people, but I do believe that it could be. So I just think that with Marty, there was something I was going to say and now I'm blanking.
That's okay.
There with Marty, it's very, very strange to me the way he's just been acting this entire week. It's basically a Kyle 2.0, but with way more erratic behavior. Like, as much as people wanted to give shit to Kyle for his HOH week, this is like Kyle on steroids, in my opinion, this entire week. So I just think that Marty has played this absolutely terribly. You got to let the emotions by the wayside, but clearly the house is getting to him.
Yeah, clearly the house is getting to him. The game is getting to him. I just don't know if he's the kind of person that's cut out to play a game like this. Then again, this is what we all love. Like, I mean, I know most of us hate Marty. We want him off our TV screens, but you have to admit he's driving a lot of the tension, the personality, the fights in the house, the backstabbing, the two-timing, the saying, you know, I'm going to play an honest game, but then not playing an honest game. Like, we love to hate that sort of thing. So, yeah, no, I can't say that he belongs in the house, but I will say that he certainly drives a lot of the action in the Big Brother house, and that's something that I want to applaud. So there's that. I will say, go ahead. Sorry.
Real quick, I just remembered my train of thought from earlier.
Yes.
So the whole thing with Betty that I was saying, with the fact that she said, "Oh, I don't think Kevin's with us, so that's why they changed their vote." The fact that you're on one couch on the complete other side of the room, and they're in Kevin and Helena on the opposite side couch, that you cannot communicate with each other. This is just terrible, terrible gameplay. You cannot go in saying you're going to do one thing and completely switch it without letting the others know, unless you plan on them completely falling on, you know, being the ones to have the fallback land on them.
I mean, but Josh said it best when he was talking in his diary room about, you know, what he said in his conversation with Marty. Like, this wasn't like it was poorly done and certainly bad planning, but it was just a couple people getting cold feet. Like, if they had two more minutes to talk, I think this would have gone through. If they had 2 more minutes to talk, for Betty to get a little bit more confirmation from Marty, which is what she needed, and maybe Kevin a little bit, but basically Marty, I think that it would have gone through. But, you know, that's what happened. Them's the breaks. Jess was evicted, and we didn't like them anyway. So the fact that Gino's still here, you know, hey, at least he's pretty. He can't spell worth shit, but at least he's pretty.
We'll get into that.
We know that, yes. Yes. So we fast forward, Marty winning HOH. Marty wins HOH, and very fun HOH competition. And of course, he wants his pound of flesh. He feels like he's been set up, and he's gonna nominate Josh and Betty. And I thought it was really narcissistic and sort of unbelievable that the entirety of Marty's HOH nomination speech was all about him.
Yes,
because it was all about, like, you know, Josh, I'm nominating you. Betty, I'm nominating you. I feel like the two of you orchestrated a trap for me. Again, it's all about him, that I fell into. And I'm also nominating you because, and I don't even know how he got to this, like, logically, but it was something about, like, I've been hearing a lot of the fact that I might be backdoored. And if you guys have to backdoor a 43-year-old man to then you're not much of a Big Brother winner after all. Like, wait, like, it's all about Marty. Everything's about Marty. I'm sorry. Like, I feel like sometimes for people who hate me podcasting, sometimes they're like, God, you're just yelling all the fucking time. And I just feel like for the past 20 minutes, I've just been, I feel like I've been up here the entire time because I'm so pumped about what's been happening in the house. But I'll take a breath for a second and just say that, like, this narcissistic bullshit from Marty, I was not here for it. Like, I played, I can't believe how many times I bring this up, but it's one thing I can draw experience from. When I played Sequester Season 4, I didn't talk about how fucking old I was, and I'm older than Marty. I'm 47 years old. I think I was 46 when I played Sequester, or 45 when I played Sequester. I know I'm older than Marty. I'll just say that. And, which is unbelievable to me. I'll just say that. I can't believe it. Me. Older than Marty? Anyway, but the fact that I'm older than Marty and he's still using it, I thought it was sort of narcissistic and unbelievable. And I was really embarrassed for him in that HOH nomination speech. And I'm sure most of the rest of you were too. And I know there's some people in the chat, Deborah, saying I just turned my volume down. And I get that. But the problem is, like, Bobby doesn't match my level of volume. So, like, you have to, like, turn the volume down and then turn it back up when Bobby talks, then turn it back down when I talk, and turn it back up. I'm so sorry.
I'll pick it up, okay?
I'm trying. I'm trying.
All right. Well, I will say this. Listening to his nomination ceremony, and just the fact that he had the audacity to say, how dare you try to backdoor this old man with his weak legs and, you know, hurt wrist or whatever it was. What in the world are you talking This is so living in his own world of idiocracy. It blows me away because everyone in this game is playing a game just like you. It's not the Marty show. It's not everyone's trying to make sure that Marty gets to the end to win because they all love Marty. No, Marty, they're all there to play their damn game. They're all there to try to win the prize. They don't give a shit if you make it to the end. They want to be at the end over you. And if you happen to be in their plans, yeah, they'd like to take you further. But guess what? Not everyone is there to make Marty happy. So yes, someone's going to come after you. And that's the whole game. He's not understanding the game that people lie, people manipulate, people backstab. But guess what? At the end of the day, it's a game. Okay, dude? Like, this isn't real life.
It's not real life.
Understand that.
The game. Yep. Yeah, it's just like playing a big game of Monopoly. That's really all it is. There's money at the end. You're playing a game that you're trying to get people out of the game and trying to get yourself to the end. There's no rules on how to play it except that the rules that Big Brother sets up, and you can backstab and lie and cheat to whoever the hell you want. As long as you accept that and move the fuck on, who the fuck cares? Marty seems to, like, on one hand care about it, and then on the other hand say, you know what? I don't even care what I said. I'm just going to backdoor my own allies because I can, and just plays an HOH totally horribly. So, like, the funny part is, I don't think that this was actually really, really, really horribly that Herman is the nominee. I just think it leaves Marty all alone. But then again, Herman, in his little window speech at the end of the episode, was like, you know, two things were apparent in Herman's little speech to himself before he gets nominated, okay? Because obviously they haven't shown that yet. But I'm telling you, Herman's about to be backdoored. So, Herman says, you know, I got to save Josh because that's my final two. So it does seem like he's very loyal to Josh. And yet he said in the same breath, you know, Marty, I know we had our ceasefire, but I may have to betray that next week. Like, I might have got a surprise for you next week. And so, you know, can you really say that Marty's making a bad move here by getting out a really strong player who he thinks might be coming for him? And it's true that Herman may have been wanting to come for Marty next week. So I can't say that it's a terrible move on Marty's part. I just think he went about it in a really messy way.
It's a great move that Marty just happens to be falling into because other people led him in that direction. Like,
oh, well, yeah, to be clear, like 100%, this is Kevin's move. This is Kevin's HOH, partly Helena, but mostly Kevin. Kevin has directed Marty's HOH pretty much from the beginning. I mean, I won't say that he was responsible for the Josh Betty nominees, but he definitely kept himself safe and knew how to interact with Marty in order to get through the initial nominations without being blamed for setting up Marty. And then once Marty calmed down a little bit, Kevin was able to talk with him. Helena talked with him a little bit and sort of like started that fire of thinking about backdooring Herman. Then Kevin came in and really flipped the switch to the point where, you know, Marty is such a loose cannon when Marty goes later in the episode to talk to Gino, and Gino's looking at the camera like, what do I say to this guy? Like, I don't want him to nominate me. He's such a loose cannon. I just have to agree with him here and hope for the best. Like, that just shows you the kind of player that Kevin's dealing with here. He's literally like a child or with a loaded gun that he's just pointing. Kevin is trying to point Marty in the direction that he's trying to get him to point to.
Yeah, Kevin broke it down perfectly. Exactly. He read Marty to a T when he said, you have to basically put Marty in a direction that you want him to go without saying that's the way you want him to go, and just put a seed of doubt in his head that person might be coming after him or that person's talking about him, and just leave the seed there, walk away, and watch it grow, because that's what happens to Marty. Then it gets in his head. Then he thinks the world's against him. Then he thinks this person's coming after him. He has to get him out. That might end up being your target, and you're just leading him in the direction to do it for you without getting any blood on your hands. It's genius. I have to keep commending Kevin. I know I'm probably, you know, driving the bandwagon for him right now, but I think that he is playing a phenomenal game. He's in with everybody. No one's really thinking about it except for possibly Herman at this moment.
Herman.
And he's getting Herman out of there. So he's doing everything that you would ever ask for a Big Brother player to do. And guess what? It's not like he's on one side of the house that's completely dominating the other and has all the control in the house. No, he's playing in the middle. He's getting in the ears he has to. He's getting to talk to the people he has to. And he's leading people in the direction he wants the house to be run. I think it's genius. Now,
he's not, and to me, he's not being lumped in a final two with Helena. Like, they are being seen together by people, but it's more like Marty, Kevin, and Helena a little bit. And that's the mistake that Herman that's the mistake that Herman is making this week. So let's well, I keep talking about like what's about to happen. So let's talk about like how we got to this spot. Summer, first of all, can we talk about Summer real quick?
Yeah.
Summer has played this week about as bad as I think you could possibly fucking play it, and it's killing me, okay? So I just want to pray for Summer because girl needs an intervention. She was playing so well. She was at the top of my leaderboard, and now I can't say the same about her. Mistake number one. What the hell is she doing? Fighting with the HOH. I know that Marty is wrong. I know that Summer was telling the truth. But girl, you can know with a player like Marty, you can't win that battle. You don't have the videotape. You can't prove it to him. Jess isn't here to say, yes, I lied. Yes, I lied. I was lying about that. That's not really what happened in that conversation at Wendy's. So instead, you have to go with Marty. And Marty's going to believe Jess over Summer. Again, I'm just pointing this out, Bobby. He's going to believe Jess over Summer. Why would he believe Jess over Summer? I don't know. Just a pattern. I'm just pointing it out. But that's what he said he's going to do. He's going to believe Jess. There's no way that Jess was lying to him. And so he's going to go with what Jess said was the real tea. But again, the fact that Summer can't back down from this conversation, and I'm not saying that I could, okay? I'm not saying that if I was Summer, that I could back down, because I thought of myself in this situation. Again, this is why I should be on reality TV. So one day I will be, because if I was Summer, I would have let him have it too. I know I shouldn't be doing it, but I couldn't help it. I'd have let him have it just like I have before. I would have absolutely let him have it and just said, you're a fucking asshole. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. And she did that. That's problem number one. That's problem number one. And then problem number two, and believe me, there's problem number three, but I can't talk to you about it yet because I got to get through problem number two. Problem number two, after she like totally fights with the HOH and basically makes her number one prospect for being the replacement nominee if the veto's used and another pawn needs to go up, she throws the veto competition to Gino. I don't understand that. Just don't use the veto then. Like, just say you don't know who the nominee is. Like, I don't know. How could she just throw the veto? And again, it worked out for her. Although I think her mom going home is not great for her. But anyway, we can talk about that. Anyway, point being that I don't know how she just throws the veto there. That was terrible. That was terrible, terrible, terrible. And then let's talk about that. And then I'm going to shelve that for a second. And then we can talk more about the mistakes that Summer's making this week.
So with Summer, I will say this. I have never been a Summer fan. I honestly think she's rather annoying. Like, she bugs the shit out of me. Now, it's only because I think she tries to be like very loud and almost obnoxious in a way on camera to, get the attention. And I get it. You're on TV. They need a character like that. But it's so like pressed for like, hey, I'm trying to be on TV. Look at me, how crazy I can, or, like how loud I can be. It just comes off very obnoxious to me. So,
in the diary room, especially.
Yes.
Look,
it bothers me.
Okay. So I get where she's coming from because she's trying to give us good TV, just like Kevin is trying to give us good TV.
I respect it. I get that. Yeah.
And I feel like in the diary room, she's trying to give us some sassy comments and, some hand motions, hand gestures here and there, twirling her head around, because she wants to give us some good TV. She knows why she's there. She wants to give us some good TV and make some people smile who are watching the show. I feel like that's where it's coming from. I don't feel like she's purposely trying to be fake or anything. I feel like she's just trying to like amp it up a little bit.
Yes, I agree. It's supposed to be for good TV, but like every diary room, come on, I want to meet the real you too.
She's trying to be consistent.
I get it. It gives me vibes.
All right.
So but I will say this. I up to this week, I completely respected her game. I thought she was playing a great game. I thought she was in a phenomenal position in this house. And now I'm having my doubts because just like you alluded to, that conversation with Marty, I really think that she should not have forced that conversation. She should have backed up and like, listen, I don't know what was said. I apologize in advance if something came out the wrong way. With Marty, he has this ego that you have to basically bow down to what he says, and what he says is right. Well, when he's in power, do it, because it's only going to help you. It's only going to benefit your game. Even if you know you're in the right, which the show showed us she's in the right. I totally understand that. You want to fight for what you believe in. But sometimes, especially with the person in power, you kind of got to eat your words and just kind of, bow down to what they say.
Yeah. So actually, you know what? I was going to save this, but let's just, since we're talking about Summer,
Sorry.
let's talk about all. No. Let's talk about all the mistakes. So let's just fast forward. So before we're going to talk about some other stuff that happened in the episode, but since we're talking about Summer, let's talk about the mistakes that she's made. Mistake number 3: thinking you're the swing vote when you ain't the swing vote, or your position as swing vote has since evaporated. Point being that there are 7 votes this week. We've got Helena, Josh, and Kevin on one side, who are, come hell or high water, they're going to get Herman out. Then we've got Moose, and let's say for now, the showmans on the other side that want to save Herman. Even though Gino gave his blessing, they really wanted to keep Herman maybe in the beginning. Now maybe they've moved off that, but let's just say that they're on Herman's side for now. So now it's 3-3. Summer is the vote. If you're Summer, again, they don't know that jury starts this week, so it's even more reason for her to just not give a fuck and just lie to these people. Tell Herman you got his back. Tell Betty you got her back. Tell both of them you got their back. Whatever you tell to one of them, you tell to the other. Say, look, whatever I'm telling them, it's a total lie. I'm really with you. Betty, I'm with you. I'm not voting to keep Herman. Herman, I'm with you only. I'm not voting to keep Betty. Herman, I need you in this game. That's what she needs to do, okay? And she just got a little too comfortable because, as those of you know, Herman was backdoored, and then Herman immediately went to work on trying to round up the votes, and those are the votes. Make no mistake, those are the 4 votes he needs. He needs Moose, the showmans, Jace, and Gino, and he needs Summer. He needs those 4 votes. I mean, I know he thinks he's got a shot at Josh, but he really doesn't have a shot at Josh because Josh doesn't understand how Herman thinks Josh is his number 1. I think if Josh knew how much Herman really wanted to go to the final 2 with Josh, I think then maybe Josh would vote to keep him. But again, Josh doesn't know that. So it's literally Summer, Gino, Jace, and Moose. But the problem was Summer told Betty, before she had really made up her mind, she told Betty, I don't know if I can keep you because Herman made a really good pitch. And then she told Herman later today, I don't know if I can keep you because Betty made a really good pitch. She's basically told both people, I might vote you out. And that's the worst thing you can do as the swing vote, because then what happens is those people say, fuck you, Summer, and they go to other people, which is since what's happened. Betty went to Jace. Betty went to Gino. She went to both of them with Josh. They made a final 4. I think it was yesterday. And they said, fuck you, we're going to cut you out. So it's like we've seen this before on Survivor, the Amazon at the final 6, when Christy thinks she has all the power as the swing vote. In Survivor 9, when Dolly on the women's tribe thinks she has all the power as the swing vote. When you think you're the swing vote in these games and you dolly around and take your time, you ain't going to end up in a good spot. Now, Summer isn't on the block this week, so she can't be evicted. But she has played herself to the bottom of the totem pole this week because she has dollied around and just lackadaisical gameplay to the point where she realizes it now. She realizes I should have kept my fucking mouth shut and not told these people anything, or I should have told them what they want to hear. She realizes that now, but it's too late. She has disturbed her trust with Betty. Betty constantly looks at the cameras and is like, I'm not going to forget that she was doubting me. I'm not going to forget that she was almost ready to evict me. And I don't know where she goes from here. I think her standing in the game has really deteriorated, and it's only because of mistakes that she has made. Okay, I'm done trashing Summer because I can't do it anymore.
It's basically like you said. It's basically the Christy Smith from Amazon Survivor the Amazon situation, where you're in the perfect position to direct where this vote is going to go. And now the two sides are like, well, screw that. Let's just go against the person that's in the middle. And that's exactly what's happening. Summer's put herself in a position that I think next week Marty's in the most trouble. But after that, I think Summer's definitely up there on their radar, someone that they don't feel that they can work with going forward. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think she's in position.
So I was listening to the update from today with Taryn, and Maggie Morgan was the updater. By the way, I don't think anyone does it better than Maggie Morgan. She's absolutely fabulous. She gives coherent, articulate, long-form sentences about her opinions in the game and what's happening in the house. And she's not afraid to disagree with Taryn, and she doesn't do it in a really shitty way, but she has her opinions about the way things should be played and how some people should be playing in the house. And she doesn't just yes, Taryn. She doesn't just yes, ma'am. She doesn't just say yes. She doesn't just throw in a few sassy comments and then let Taryn talk for 90% of the time. And I'm fine with Taryn talking for 90% of the time. I'm just saying, if you're going to have an updater on, you want them to contribute. And I feel like Maggie is one of the best people out there. I just want to give a little shout out to her because I was listening to her on the updates today. And, Bobby, I know you used to do the updates in the past, and I remember when you did a good job, but Maggie was absolutely fabulous because earlier today she was talking about the fact that she's a big believer, and I believe this too. When you're playing Big Brother or any social strategy game, it's very good to just plant your flag as early as possible if you know where you're voting. The problem was Summer didn't know where she was voting. She didn't know what she was going to do. And then she planted her flag, and then it's like, oh, wait, I need to take that back out. Let me try again. And then she did it again. And she's actually like, the way she explained it earlier today was really, really, really fun and cogent and easy to understand. And I think there was even a moment in time where she was talking about how the fact that she disagrees with Taryn in that she thinks it's actually better for Summer's game to keep Herman this week, which I actually do agree with. I actually think it's better for Summer's game if she keeps Herman this week, but I don't even know if the votes are there to keep Herman now because I feel like the showman's has gone back over to Betty's side, and Betty did some good work earlier today. I know I'm sort of all over the place, but I just want to give a little shout out there because I think it's important for people to explain what's happening in the game and why people are doing what they're doing and what they could be doing better. It's not enough to just shade people, because I'm good at that, to shade people and say, boy, these people suck and how aren't they playing bad? But here's what you could be doing better, and here's what might have worked better for you in the game. And I feel like she does a good job of that. So you're welcome, Maggie.
Yeah, Maggie does great work over there, Maggie. Hey, you got Brent's attention. You're doing something right.
Yeah, well, I'm just I'm not. I don't want to look. There's people have been doing updates for the past 5 weeks, and I'm not coming for anybody in particular. There are people that do them a lot better than others, and Maggie is at the top of my list. So there's that. Okay. All right.
Yeah, no, and I also give a shout out to Chappelle. I know he's been one of my favorites since they started looking for people. All right, so let's get past this whole situation with Summer, because I definitely want to talk about, after the nominations, we saw Betty, and Betty went for, in my opinion, the low blow that she should have taken, and I love that she took it, where she told Marty, well, Canada's watching, and Canada's going to see the whole thing, and you're going to see how Canada feels. Whatever she said, I love that, because we know for a fact, watching the feeds and all year round, ever since Marty won that Canada's vote, he thinks that everything's for Canada. Canada loves him. Canada's going to be just upset if you do anything to hurt their Marty. How could you come after their Marty? And when she said that, that just got under his skin.
She's the best. I absolutely love Betty, which is the only reason why it kills me that Herman's probably going to be leaving this week. But Betty's saying is like, that's pretty big for us. Betty's awesome. She's a fun reality TV casting. Okay. So I love the fact that she just went right at the core, because I think that's also, like, that's been said before by other people to Marty, and it really gets under his skin. Like, it really does. He won't admit it, but it gets under his skin, because when he won that fan vote, he's like, oh, I got to play an honest game. And you know what? It's not possible to play an honest game in the Big Brother house, especially not when you're a player like Marty. You're not an honest player, Marty. I wish somebody would just, like, I can't wait till Marty's on the block and backdoored next week, and someone shakes him and says, you know what? Like, it's almost like, oh my God, like Shangela. Sorry, I'm not. I know for people who watch RuPaul's Drag Race, they know what I'm thinking. I know, Body, I'm gonna like totally like space you here, like you don't know what I'm saying. But there's a point in time in RuPaul's Drag Race where like Shangela is like, I could have a sugar daddy if I wanted a sugar daddy. If I get a sugar daddy, if I wanted a sugar daddy, I could get one. And like, she was just going on and about that. I feel like the same thing is like with Marty. Like, you were never an honest person. You could not be an honest person. You thought you were an honest person, but you can never be an honest person. Why? Because you are not an honest person, Marty. And he doesn't understand that. That is the T when it comes to Marty. He somehow thought this fan vote was something for him, but really it was just about like, where does Marty live? He lives in like this Newfoundland, Toronto. I don't know where he lives.
I don't know.
Wherever he lives, it's the part of Canada. And again, I don't know my Canadian geography, so don't come for me.
Me either.
Okay? But he's from the part of Canada where everybody votes for this person. Like whoever, like if you're from that part of Canada, they're going to vote for you and they're going to carry the day with the vote. So I don't know where he's from, but he got the total wrong idea from that. New Brunswick. Thank you, Tracy. I knew I was going to say like something else, but that wasn't it. I knew it
you could have given me 100 guesses. I would have never got that.
I would have never got it. Anyways, point being that, yes, he thinks he's some hot shit and he's not hot shit. He's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love Betty coming for it.
And I don't get where Big Brother gets these people year after year after year that just think, oh, everyone has to play honest, or everyone should play honest, or that Canada and America, what have you, love honesty. Where is this written in the rule books that they're reading every year? Because I feel like we get one or two players that is like dead set that this is how they have to play the game, or this is how the game should be played. Because every single year, America, Canada, what have you, is laughing at this person, being like, what game did you think you signed up for? Everyone backstabs everyone. You can't win without stabbing your best friend in the back. Because guess what? Your best friend will probably beat you if you don't stab them in the back. Like, that's just Survivor 101. That's Big Brother 101. Like, it blows my mind that we still get these people even through casting. And these people are super fans. Like,
I don't understand it. Like, I would know going in the house that you never want to be the person who says, I'm honest, I'm a good person, because number one, those people are fucking boring. Okay. And number two, you're never able to uphold the values that you say when you come into the house. Like I've never, like it is a rare sight to see someone who's actually able to play honest, because if you're playing honest, you're not playing self-interestedly, because it's not in your best interest to always be honest with people. It's really not. Yep. I don't understand why people want to, like, we don't want to see, this is why I complained about last year of Big Brother during the summer with the cookout. I don't want to see people play selflessly. I want to see people play selfishly. Okay. Mm-hmm. We want that as reality TV. We want people to go for the fucking money. Oh, why are we watching if you're not going to try to win the game? And that's why it was a little boring last summer. And I know why it was boring. I know why, blah, 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 blah. But point being, it was people playing selflessly. And I don't want to see that. I want people to quit playing morally, just like Stacy says in the chat, play self-interestedly. That's what we want. And Marty doesn't seem to get that.
And another thing is, don't be so bitter and so beat up in a personal level when people do play against you like that, when people do stab you in the back. Because guess what? That could have easily been you to them had you taken the game as seriously as they did and understood that that's just part of the game. Because guess what? At the end of the day, we've said it a million times, it's just a game, but this is how you're supposed to play the game. And don't take it so personally. It's not a personal attack. You're all there to win the same prize. Only one person can win. So I know we say this every season, but it really bothers me that we still continue to get people that are all about this honesty bullshit in a game that is constantly about stabbing people in the back. I don't get it. All right. So before we get to the rest of this episode, let's get the commercial out of the way. Everyone's favorite.
Okay. Fine.
We're 42 minutes in. Let's get this commercial out of the way and we'll be right back. And if you can, hit the like button right now on YouTube. We really appreciate it.
Hit the like button, please. I beg you.
Brent begs you. All right. We'll be right back.
Lucy Nicotine is a company founded by Caltech scientists and former smokers looking for a better and cleaner nicotine alternative. Finally, tobacco alternatives that don't suck.
Researched and developed for 3 years to be made for people, not patients. Lucy has created a nicotine gum with 4 milligrams of nicotine that comes in 3 flavors: wintergreen, cinnamon, and pomegranate. Lucy also has a lozenge with 4 milligrams of nicotine in cherry ice flavor. Each and every flavor actually tastes great, and it's convenient and discreet. Products can be enjoyed anywhere, on flights, at work, on the go, or even in the gym.
I am so happy that Lucy is sponsoring us. Ever since they came on board, I have gotten no less than 5 of my friends transitioned over to Lucy and put their cigarettes down. They like the gum. I'm used to seeing the packages all around. This stuff is great, and it's really helping people make much healthier choices. So get on board and join the Lucy movement.
Hey, it's 2021. Get rid of your cigarettes, unplug your vape, throw out your dip, and get some Lucy nicotine gum or lozenges. This is the real deal. A subscription to Lucy comes directly to your door each month. It's so simple that you don't even have to leave your house because Lucy has delivery down.
Reality NSFW listeners, go to lucy.co and use promo code SURVIVOR to get 20% off all products, including gum or lozenges. That's lucy.co and use promo code SURVIVOR at checkout. Also, I have to give this disclaimer. Warning, this product contains nicotine derived from tobacco. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's lucy.co, and be sure to use that promo code SURVIVOR.
This episode of Reality NSFW is sponsored by Blue Chew. Say it with us, Blue Chew. Blue Chew is making waves and bringing more confidence to the bedroom by offering chewable tablets that can help men get stronger and longer lasting erections. That's right, we're giving away super hard dicks.
Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. Blue Chew's tablets help men achieve harder, stronger erections to combat all forms of ED.
Blue Chew is an online prescription service, so no visits to the doctor offices, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. And it ships right to your door in a discreet package. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And the best part, it's all done online.
Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient and strength for your prescription. Don't like swallowing pills? No problem here. Blue Chew's sildenafil and tadalafil tablets are chewable. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and they prepare and ship direct, so it's cheaper than a pharmacy.
Hey, if you're looking to give that immunity idol to someone, or you don't want to be voted out of a crater, don't worry, Blue Chew's got you covered. So if you could benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information.
And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use promo code SURVIVOR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's Blue Chew, BlueChew.com, promo code SURVIVOR to receive your first month free. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
We're all trying to eat better, but healthy breakfast doesn't have to be boring. Magic Spoon has the amazing flavors you love, but without all the bad stuff. And it's amazing as a midnight snack right before bed.
0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. That's only 140 calories per serving.
It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. And build your own box. Available flavors to build your very own custom bundle are cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cinnamon, cookies and cream, and my favorite, maple waffle. Now, Magic Spoon recently brought back their 2 super popular flavors, cookies and cream and maple waffle. Thank goodness, but they're back permanently. And when these flavors were first introduced for a limited time, they sold out extremely quickly. Now, I'm here to let you know you can get them again or try them for the first time. Why? Because they're delicious and indulgent.
Johnny, Magic Spoon has so many great flavors that I really enjoy, and even my kids enjoy them. We have the cocoa, fruity frosted, peanut butter. All these are really great combinations. They enjoy waking up in the morning and getting some Magic Spoon right off to start their day great before they head off to school. I think everybody listening should give Magic Spoon a try, or if you've tried them already, it's time to reorder. Let's get you some more Magic Spoon and get your day started right.
Hey, when I finish a podcast late at night, the first thing I'm thinking is not sleep. It's let me grab a delicious bowl of Magic Spoon before I go to bed.
So go to magicspoon.com/survivor to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code SURVIVOR at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/survivor and use the code SURVIVOR to save $5 off. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this podcast.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the show. So let's get into this veto competition. So what did you think of this competition? I thought this was a really, really cool idea.
I thought it was cool. I did note, and I guess maybe the information would have gotten out because Moose was hosting the thing, but the fact that like JC Lynn is over there watching in the stands, she sees who's voting for Gino. So I feel like they might have been a little bit, and I'm not just saying him, but they're the one in a showman. So I feel like they didn't want to vote for Gino at first because they know that Jason Lynn is going to tell them, oh, like, Summer voted for you or Kevin voted for you or something like that. So I didn't love that. But again, the fact that Moose is hosting it, I guess it doesn't really matter because, they all need to have the same information. Like Moose can't have more information than the other house guests. I get why they were all sitting out there watching it. Yeah. So I did love this competition. This was a lot of fun to watch. Surprising. I was surprised that Josh lost that competition to Gino. I mean, Gino's no slouch, obviously, but still it was, the kind of competition that I thought Josh could win. And I was very happy at the end here. For those of you who don't know, Kevin won this veto, but he basically did it by copying Gino. Now, I don't know what he copied. He might have copied the words and like where they intersected because, he could just look at Gino's puzzle and see like what letters he needed. There's that. Maybe he looked at Gino's misspelled nominees and quickly, because Kevin knows how to spell nominees. So he quickly rearranged it. I don't know. He definitely looked at Gino. He said that on the feeds. He definitely looked over at Gino at some point or at a lot of points to win this veto. And I saw Jesse Larson from Big Brother Canada. Oh my God, what season was that? Ooh, 6. It was 6. Big Brother Canada 6. He was talking about the fact that Kevin was looking at Gino. And I'm like, who cares? Like if they allow it, then definitely good on you. That's the way to play it smart. Kevin definitely won the veto because he was looking at Gino and Gino's puzzle, and he won the veto, and now the ghosts have some power in this game. Now, I know I saw people on Twitter, again, going back to my defending Helena. Helena's in the diary room saying, the ghosts have some power in this game. And people on Twitter were like, no, Kevin has some power in this game. And I think that's true to a certain extent. But I do think that, you can't play this game alone. And the fact that Kevin has Helena to bounce ideas off of, to get confirmation, to have a ride or die, it's really something that's invaluable. So I think the two of them together, it was good to see them finally get some power. I'm hoping that they can win HOH next week, because if they can win HOH next week, I feel like they can keep Marty safe. And then the following week, people are definitely going after Marty. So, we'll see. But I feel like it's definitely, it would be a good week for them to win.
Yeah. So to go back to the competition, thought it was a great competition. Thought it was a lot of fun, especially since they didn't get to see each other's votes. That it wasn't like one of those competitions where everyone's going to load up on a target to get them out. It was very all over the place. So I really enjoyed that. The fact that Summer, for whatever godly reason, decided in a physical competition to take on Gino was beyond me. Now, later, like you said, she alluded that she didn't want to win that competition. But in that moment, I feel like that's still suspect. You're going to take the guy that's, everyone's opinion is a competition freak. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I didn't think that was a great game move, even if it was a game move. And then secondly, I know people want us to come on here and, basically Technotronics bash Gino for his spelling of nominees. But if you really think about it, English might not be his, first language. I don't know if it's French or what. Someone said in the chat that there was.
It might be his third language.
It might be his third language. So
yeah, it might be Greek and then French and then English.
Exactly. So I'm not gonna bash someone because I don't know what his first language is. He knew what the word was, so it's not like he didn't know it. He just didn't spell it correctly. And I agree with you. I think that's where Kevin was able to basically cheat off him. And I have no problem with Kevin doing that. Because one, he found the answer. Sure, I'm going to take it. He didn't spell it right. And then secondly, we see people do this on Survivor and Big Brother all the time. They look at other people's puzzles because they can't figure it out themselves. Yeah. And sometimes it works. So I have no problem with it. But yeah, I think this set them up perfectly.
So as far as Summer picking Gino, I agree with Leslie Eleanor in the chat where she's like, it was a little flirty because, Gino and Summer have this little flirtmance going on, even though Burlington Coat Factory is still there. For those of you who don't know, that's JC Lynn. Twitter calls are all sorts of things. I love the Burlington Coat Factory. That's the one that just kills me. Burlington Coat is there, but Summer and Gino have a little flirtments. They have a lot more chemistry than Gino and Burlington have. So I don't understand what the hell she's doing there. Anyway, point being that Summer was just, I feel like she was playing with Gino. I agree with what Leslie said. She said, I kind of think it was just a fun way to just poke at Gino. Like, let's go head to head, me and you, mano y mano, or mano y, woman, or what, I don't know what the Latin phrase is for woman. Anyway, point being, it was just Summer being playful in that moment. And it was a lot of fun. But again, I'm fine with that. The fact that she threw it to him is the part that I don't get. I just, like, she knew she was a likely replacement nominee. I mean, until Kevin comes up with this plot to get Herman out, she was the replacement nominee. Like, how can you not go for the veto there? That is just mind-blowing to me. It's absolutely mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, thank God Kevin ended up winning that, because the fact that Kevin was able to, converse with Helena and be like, hey, we need to push this idea onto Gino. Honestly, I think it really helped Summer out a lot. I mean, I don't know if they weren't going to be able to get their way and get their nomination or nominee put on the block if Marty didn't go along with it. I don't think it really mattered for Summer, but still, I think that it was a good move I think it was really worked out for Summer that Kevin and them ended up winning the competition and really pushing their agenda.
Right. Yeah, I think so too. It worked out fabulous. Again, this is the first time that I know of that the ghosts really have some power in this game. And Kevin, I love Kevin in the diary room. He's like, if Gino wins, he's going to keep the nominations the same, but that's boring. Like, nobody wants that. So, like, let's win. Let's go out there and win the veto and change things up. I like that.
Yeah. All right. So let's go forward in this episode. We see Helena going up to Marty saying, hey, this is what I think we should do. I think that, oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? The guy that just went up as a nominee.
Oh, Josh?
No,
what?
the new nominee.
Herman?
Herman. Thank you. I don't know why I lost his name in my head. I could see his face, just could not think of his name to save my life. Herman. I think this. See, now I lost my train of thought. So yeah, okay. So for the fact that they were able to get Herman on the block, the fact that they just put it in Marty's head that Herman is the one that's coming after you. It might not seem that way, but trust me, that's the person that's coming after you. Doesn't have to push their agenda. They don't have to say, well, I think he's coming after me or he's coming after our alliance. It's just strictly, hey, there's this little seed of doubt. Now run with it. And that's exactly what happened.
It really is. And I think that I also want to come for a few people on podcasts who I won't name, but also a few people on social media who were like, you know what? Kevin and Helena, they're playing this whole thing wrong. They wanted to backdoor Herman. They needed to get Gino to buy into it first. And that way he would have gone to Marty and then they could have got Herman up on the block. Some people thought this was never going to work, that going to Helena and Kevin both going to Marty directly was never going to get Herman on the block, that the minute that Marty talked to Gino would have put a stop to it. Where are those people now? I'm looking for them. I don't see them out here, Bobby. I can't find them. They're nowhere to be found because obviously they've slinked back into their holes and not admitted that they were clearly wrong about the skills of Kevin and Helena in getting Marty to put Herman up on the block. So I just want to say that I was someone who was like more in favor of the fact that I think Kevin's got this. I'm going to bet on him. But some people doubt it. So I just want to point out there are people that doubt it.
So another thing I want to ask you about is we see Marty after this idea is full of go. They're gonna put Herman up. He pulls Gino into the HOH room and he wants to get a feel for how Gino feels about the situation. Now he says in the diary room that if Gino ends up saying don't do it, he knows Herman and Gino are working together. And the fact that Gino really is like, whatever you want to do, that actually sounds like a good idea. It's just totally going along with it because he knows he needs to, that's what how you feed to Marty's ego is you just say, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I understand where you're coming from. And then later just backstab him later. What did you think of that interaction? I thought Gino played it very well. And what did you think of Marty's mindset of his whole theology of how this is going to work out if Gino says save Herman.
So I think, and I saw some people shading Gino on Twitter saying, why didn't he put a stop to this? It's obviously not in his best interest to have Herman go, because let me tell you, if Herman goes this week, Showmance moves to the top of a lot of people's lists, okay? If Herman goes this week, the Showmance is in trouble. Just depends on who wins HOH. So why should Gino be in favor of this? But I'm from the school of thought that Marty has clearly shown he's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking loose cannon in the house right now. And Gino recognizes that this guy is not playing with the full, like, he's like 2 tacos short of a combination plate, okay? He doesn't understand how to play the game. He's literally not playing with the full deck, okay? So Gino understands, I can't push anything on Marty. I just have to agree with him no matter what he says. And then hope that he doesn't point his loaded gun at me and JC Lynn. Like, that's where he's coming from. I swear to God, that's where he's coming from. And I think that's the best you can do. When you have someone like this who is so unstable as the HOH, all you can do is try to stay out of the line of fire. If you try to get cute, and if he tried to say, I don't think this is a good idea, Gino could have ended up on the block. I mean, anything could have happened here. So, you know.
Gino fully realized that he's, this guy is not in his right mind. He has to agree with whatever Marty is thinking, because if he agrees to it or says it's a good idea, it's going to be a full go, and if it doesn't involve him and JC Lynn, he doesn't care. And guess what? Only saying no to it is only going to put more doubt in Marty's head. Anything you say no, and Marty's got it in his head that this is how it has to be, this is the way, and you tell him no, he then thinks you're against him. And guess what? Then you become one of his potential targets down the road. It's completely the right thing to do by making that move. So, all right, so we get to the end of the episode, and it's going to be to be continued, because we see him talking to Herman and basically saying he's not going to tell Herman. He wants to completely backdoor him, completely backstab him. And he has a conversation, says, oh, you don't have anything to worry about. You can kick your feet up. There's nothing to be afraid of. You're good to go. And we see Herman talking to himself, being like, can I win this game? Like, oh, this is such, I've got this in the bag. Like, basically, Marty's got, I made a 1-week agreement that we won't come after each other, but guess what? Marty's got something coming next week. He better watch out. So I feel like Herman has really nothing to really bitch at, because he's going up, not because of Marty, but mainly because of Kevin. But he can't be mad that Marty's taking the shot either, because he said it himself on the episode. He was going to come after Marty. So I just think that I think Marty fell into the perfect situation he needed to, went about it completely messy, and it's working out for him in a way, but mainly for Kevin and Helena.
Yep. I concur. I'm so excited. Oh, Doug in the chat. Brent prefers this Big Brother Canada cliffhanger than the Dynasty Moldavia massacre. Girl, you cannot call the Moldavia thing a massacre, okay? Like, what, we lost 2 people in Dynasty? Like, I guarantee you, like, nobody in the chat knows who the fuck we're talking about except for me and Doug. But still, I want to argue with Doug about this, that the Moldavia, look, for those of you who don't know, Dynasty was a big soap in the 1980s, and they had a big cliffhanger. It was like, who shot JR? That they were trying to do the same thing, and it didn't work, because when they came back from the next season, all of our faves were still there. It was like 2 people who didn't even matter were somehow killed, and everybody else somehow survived. So yeah, I guess I prefer this one, but I don't think anybody would prefer the one from Dynasty. Okay, moving on.
I know what you're talking about, but it was definitely before my time.
You actually do? Okay, cool.
Yeah, right. Who shot JR, of course. All right, so we get to the end of the episode. This is twice now in 1 week that we have a to be continued. Like, this is not commonplace for Big Brother Canada or Big Brother. So in general, just at least even twice in 1 week. Yeah, we've had it once in a week, but twice in 1 week, they're really, the producers are digging this episode right now, or this week, and how messy it has been. This is fantastic news for the producers. So I don't know. So what do you think is going to happen? Who's going home, and what's your prediction for the rest of the game going forward for the next couple weeks, if you have any?
I mean, I think that Marty is at the top of some people's hit lists, and I think that the Showmance is at the top of other people's hit lists. So I said shit list, but it's hit list. I think that those are the 3 likely nominees at this point. I think that Kevin did really masterful work this week. I think the only person that was really coming after Kevin and Helena, who does the thing is, Herman doesn't see what he needs to see. Herman doesn't see that Kevin and Helena are the threat that they are, because I swear, if he knew what they were, if he knew the threat that they were, he could get out of this week. But he doesn't see it. He's just saying, basically his pitch to stay is, I'm going after Marty. But of course, Josh's argument to Summer, who basically Josh is now kind of the swing vote, because Summer's kind of deferred to Josh and basically said, I want to do whatever Josh wants to do. Josh has said to Summer, but everybody's going after Marty. Why do we need Herman for that? And then once you get Marty out, then we still have Herman to deal with. So he makes a good point, and Herman doesn't have anything else. That's the problem. If Herman knew that Kevin and Helena and Marty were all working together as a cogent, cohesive unit that has strategy, that is controlled this week, Herman doesn't realize that Marty isn't his problem. Kevin is his problem. He doesn't know that basically this was engineered solely by Kevin and Helena. He doesn't understand that. And if he did know that, I feel like then he could get out of this week by saying, I'm against those three. They're the big threat, the three of them. But Marty by himself is not a big enough threat for people to want to keep Herman. And I feel like as of this recap, it's probably a 6-1 vote for Herman to go tomorrow, with only Moose possibly staying in Herman's corner, because Moose is a real one. So, I feel like if Herman has a rabbit to pull out of the hat, he has to get his head out of his own ass and see that Kevin and Helena are not just a bunch of floaters. They are not just background players. They are real shit, and he doesn't see that. Maybe his ego won't let him see that, but and I'm guilty of this too. When I played Sequester 4, Josh was a magnificent player, and I couldn't see it when I was in the game. I didn't see the threat that Josh was in the game that I was playing, because it was so above me on my abilities as a player. So we'll see. If Herman is as good of a player as I think that he is, he should be able to suss out that Kevin is a good enough player that he needs to take seriously. The fact that he is dismissing them is a little bit indicting on Herman's ability, much as I hate to say it.
I think it's something that he'll mainly come to a senses to when it comes to jury. I think once people are able to talk and communicate and figure out, where all the pieces lie, he'll realize what a big game player Kevin was. But I don't think it'll be while he's in the house. I think it's something that's going to happen after. And I really hope that it's something he finds out in jury, because if Kevin gets to the end and say he's up against someone, maybe more likable in the house, but less of a game player, he deserves all the credit he had, or he should be getting for making this move against Herman.
It should be noted that the one thing that's going to piss off Kevin tomorrow, and I don't even know when they're going to find this out, I guess right before the vote, maybe right after the vote. I don't know, probably right before the vote. They think that this is the last pre-juror. They don't know that jury starts right now. They don't know that Herman or Betty is going to be the first juror. So Kevin is counting on Herman not being there, but Herman is about to be the first juror, and Kevin doesn't even know it. So that's going to be a fly in the ointment, for real.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I think that's pretty much it for the episode. I do want to say I'm loving this possible 3 working together of Kevin, Helena, and Josh. I think that could be a fantastic 3. I really would love to see those 3 run it to the end. We'll see. This house has been so flippy-floppy this season. I absolutely love it. It's not one side completely monopolizing the entire game, so I am here for it. And yes, I have my favorites, and yes, I have the people I don't like, but I appreciate all of them for bringing an entertaining season that we've been needing for a long, long time. All right, Brent. So where can everybody find you?
You can always find me at OneLuckyGay on Twitter or Instagram. That's one spelled out, ONE. And when I got news for you, I always go there. So that's where you need to find me.
Absolutely. You can find me at Goodsby Bobby on Twitter. I think that's it. Anything else you want to say, Brent, before we get out of here?
So Doug notes in the chat that there's 8 jurors then. So because he's guessing that Big Brother Canada is going to have Canada as a 9th juror, which seasons of reality TV have done before. I think that's possible. I think it's also possible that they bring back the Big Brother Canada 3 twist when there were 10 jurors that season. And exactly, Tracy. And they had the final 3 vote to remove one of the jurors. And if that happens, that's going to be very interesting because I don't think they're going to remove Herman. So they'd probably remove somebody else. Usually it's somebody that all 3 of them can kind of agree on is sort of up in the air. That's usually the person that they would probably eliminate in this instance. So if they brought back that twist, and they've been bringing back a lot of twists this year, I feel like that's one that they could do.
All right, I agree with you. I think that it's going to be an exciting ending, so I'm all here for it. And we're in the jury stage, people. It's a home stretch now. All right, guys. So for Brent, I'm Bobby. We'll be back next Wednesday immediately after the episode to bring you all coverage right here on Reality NSFW. Please check out our other videos on YouTube and give us a thumbs up and like if you can, if you're on YouTube. And for our other videos, we greatly appreciate all the support. All right, guys. Until next time, we'll see you next week. Bye.
And for more Reality NSFW content, visit adfreeNSFW.com.